From the wild world of D.C. politics to America's culture clash, brace yourself for the reality check you've been waiting for. The one and only Mike Gallagher Show.
So it actually happened. If you've noticed this morning, or maybe you haven't noticed, the federal government is shut down. The members of Congress last night did not come to an agreement on how to go forward, and so everything's closed. Hope you weren't planning to go to a national park today, or maybe to the Library of Congress or the Smithsonian. Do you really care if the federal government shut down? Because basically there was a choice here. There just weren't enough votes. Republicans did not have enough votes in the Senate to pass the continuing resolution. And we're going to get into that in just a minute because, you know, a Democrat senator who voted with the Republicans yesterday pointed out to his colleagues, this is Joe Biden's budget, folks. This continuing resolution is made up of budget items that the Democrats have voted on over the last 4 years during the Joe Biden administration. It's a clean continuing resolution, which means Republicans haven't added or changed anything to it. It's just a matter of keeping the government funded on a temporary basis. But no, the Democrats, they, as Speaker Mike Johnson said of Schumer, selfishly used this opportunity to create a lot of drama, a lot of chaos over shutting the federal government down because they're upset that the big, beautiful bill back in the spring cut out funding for health insurance, health care for illegals. So you tell me, do we not call the Democrats out for shutting down the government because they think that illegals should get health care? Is that not a magnet just to attract more people coming into the country illegally? So let's kind of dive in here with what happened yesterday, last night, I guess I should say. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Of course, I want to get your take on it too. And primarily my question to you is, does it affect you? When you woke up this morning and the government was shut down, did your life change? Anything? Did anything change for you today? Unless, of course, you might have been on vacation and you were going to go to one of these national parks or something. We'll get into that in just a minute. But the President Donald Trump yesterday said that basically he doesn't want the government to shut down, but that this could potentially be an opportunity to do some things that he can do in a shutdown that he would not have been able to do otherwise. This is cut number one.
They are shutting it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested, so the last person that wants it shut down is us. Now, with that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, you know, we're cutting that. But they want to have illegal aliens come into our country and get massive health care at the cost to everybody else, and we don't have it. And that's I would say, the number one reason that they want to strike is to get illegal immigrants health care. And, you know, Gavin Newsom wants that, too, in California, and it's destroying California. We can't have that. We're not going to let it happen.
Wow. The president's right. The Democrats, in shutting down the federal government, may have wished that they had kept it open, because I got a feeling that Donald Trump is going to seize the moment and is going to take this opportunity to cut some of the federal employees that he had been wanting to cut anyway, but had not been able to. Speaker Johnson, in talking about how we got here, And let's review that real quickly. House Republicans passed the continuing resolution, or the CR as it's known, a clean CR in that no changes were made. It was just to keep the government open at the present funding levels. Again, Joe Biden levels. They passed this 2 weeks ago. It was a simple, short-term measure that would get us through November the 21st. Shouldn't have been any drama. But no, Chuck Schumer comes along, and Chuck Schumer wants to try to make a point. Now, I honestly don't know what it is he's trying to accomplish here, but Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday that Schumer is very selfishly bringing the government to a shutdown. This is cut number 3.
Chuck Schumer has made the decision unilaterally. He's the leader of the Democrats in the Senate to keep the government shut down for his own personal reasons. It is extremely selfish and stunning to me that he is willing to do that. There's no way out of the trap. We didn't put partisan provisions in the CR. We could have. I could have loaded that up with all of our partisan policy preferences, but I didn't because we're operating in good faith.
Now, of course, Schumer has a different take on it. Schumer in cut number 6 says that it's the GOP's fault.
We see now Republicans are plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking America's health care, worst of all. A few moments ago, Republicans once again rejected Democrats' proposals to avoid a shutdown, fix health care premiums, and spare Americans the calamity of skyrocketing through the roof health care costs.
Now, basically, what Chuck Schumer wants is to put health care back into the budget for illegals. It was taken out in the one big beautiful bill back in the spring. Do you think Chuck Schumer and the Democrats really want to possibly eliminate any chance of victory for them next year in the midterms by going down this path, by pushing health care for illegals? There's a poll out, and the numbers are astronomical as far as the number of Americans who say that health care should not be provided and that the government should not be closed down because of that issue. Chuck Schumer doesn't have a leg to stand on, even among his Democrats. Coming up, one Democrat senator voted with 2 other Democrat senators with the GOP. And he says it's very simple, that they just need to remember that this is Joe Biden's budget that they're voting on. They have voted on it for the past 4 years. That and your phone calls coming up. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike today.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.